welcome to episode number 5 of the StreamYard Town Hall. My name's Gage Vanatop, and I'm here with Dan Briggs, of course. How are you doing, Dan?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
I'm doing good. How'd the week treat you? We actually got snow here.
Yeah, it's actually snowing right now. It's a bit of a blizzard outside at the moment.
Which everyone thinks Canada snows all the time, but we're actually on the west coast, which the weather here, it doesn't snow here every year. It usually does not snow, so a bit of a surprise for us. It's nice to see it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Some comments here. Jenny's here. Hey, Jenny, nice to see you. Thanks for that. Chuck, you're a regular now. Nice to see you. Beauty Bubble, of course. Dana, nice to see you. So let's start with our first topic, which we just tweeted out and posted on Instagram, which was our first mobile UI. So Dan's going to talk a bit about that.
Yeah. So again, big progress this week. We just posted a picture of us actually using we're kind of beta testing mobile now. So we'll be letting at least some people try it out, and we're testing out just to make sure we've got all the kinks sorted out before we actually release it. But basically where we're at right now is it's running on Android and everything looks great. So I've got it set up on my Android phone, and again, it's not released yet, so not everyone can do this, but it's working on Android, so we're going to roll that out very soon. And then with iOS, just for technical reasons, there's a few more things we need to do in order to support video. So what we're going to do is roll out audio only for iOS at the start, and then add video shortly after that, which, we can get into that. That's one of the questions we have for you guys, is how important is the video for iOS and how quickly do we need to get that out versus other things. But I do think, just starting with audio, it's so much better than what we have now, right? With nothing, where you bring a guest in and, they can't join. Whereas at least now they come in, they got audio, you can still do the show. So that's what we're going to start with. And like I said, Android, it's good to go. Everything's fine.
The full experience on Android will be there.
Full experience right at the start, yeah. And all in the browser. So no downloads, which is excellent. And now if we're one of the things we're going to be weighing is if we need to make an app for certain interactions. But right now it seems like we're going to be able to do everything in the browser, which really excited about that actually, because no one's doing that. We're running into some of the technical issues we've had to solve is we're having to communicate with the browser vendors, especially with Safari on some of these iOS challenges. And just because no one's really doing this in the browser yet. So we're sort of pushing the limit on the technology side with releasing this, which is very cool.
All right, let's look at a few of these comments here.
Jennifer,
my mistake. Sorry about that. Yeah, what's up, Dan?
While I'm at it, let me just share my screen if you want to throw that on.
Oh, yep, absolutely.
I just took a snapshot while I was developing for mobile earlier. So there's our current Android view. There's just me having a nice conversation with myself.
But yeah, nice and simple. Just got a few buttons there at the bottom, all you really need.
Yeah, and ease of use. Ease of use.
Dana's excited for mobile. Linda wants to test. Hey, Craig, nice to see you. And if you guys have any questions for us, feel free to just drop them in here, and we'll address them as we go along. I know, Dan, there's a question we wanted to ask. You want to go over that?
Yeah, do you want to talk about what you were doing first?
Oh, yeah, what I was doing this week. So you guys might have noticed I was not quite as active as I usually am on the community group. It's because Dan and I both are pretty heavy on development right now. I'm primarily working on the technical term is transcoding, but basically the computers we have that take your streams and send them to Facebook and YouTube. I've been working heavily on those to try to just squeeze out as much performance as possible, so that the video quality will be even better and the audio will sound even better, and also in part to lower our costs so that our server costs are lower and that we can serve more users with ease. So that's my status for the week.
Yeah, it's quite cool. Gage is really tweaking the bits at the moment, I guess you could say, which is cool. That's one of the benefits of, I think we've mentioned this before, but we've written everything from scratch, right? So
that's one cool thing that some people might not know about is a lot of tools you use, like even if they're video tools, like a very high percentage of the time, the people, like the software you're using, they didn't actually write their video backend, so they're just using some other service. Whereas Dan and I actually wrote all of our stuff from scratch. So we run our own video servers. We know all the code that's running on those video servers, so we can tweak it to work for this exact use case. So we have a lot of control there, which makes it nice for us to really optimize the experience for you guys.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than like if you're using some other service and one of your users is having an issue, and well, we can't fix that because
we didn't write it. We don't have control over it. Let's see if we have any feedback here about the iOS.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what people have to say on that one.
It pays to be Android friendly. Yeah, every once in a while it does.
I'm a big fan.
Hey Ross, nice to see you. We were just showing the mobile UI in case you didn't see it already. Yeah, I'd be curious to get your opinion, Ross. So our first version of mobile is going to support, it's going to have full support for Android, but audio only for iOS. And that's for technical reasons that we don't want to dive into right at this moment. But so we'll have full support for Android, audio support for iOS. And we're hoping to get some feedback from people as far as how important is video for iOS. Like we'll have it eventually, but compared to other features, is it super important in the next month for you guys to have video on iOS? Or is audio enough to sort of fill your appetite until we have full video support? Or is it like no video or nothing? Is that what sort of the sentiment is, what we're trying to get a sense? And again, if you guys have any questions for us, just let us know.
I don't think it will take longer than 2 months kind of thing. Like we're not talking
2 months.
8 months or anything like that. But it can be prioritized to be faster.
Yeah, this will all be for the free version. So mobile on the free version, you'll be able to use mobile, Android, and iOS.
Cool. All right, you want me to ask?
I think that is a yes. Then I think audio is enough. All right, April. April says it's enough. Super important for iOS, but how important, Bruce? Video or nothing?
That's important.
What is it? Video or nothing for a month though? Is it video or nothing if it's for 1 month? What's your opinion on that? All right, Ross is in between.
Fair enough. That's exactly where I'm coming from on it. Like, it's so much better than nothing, right?
It's a hard decision for us. It's definitely significantly, because at least everyone can participate now. So if you want someone to randomly join in your broadcast, it's not this hard barrier of like, oh, sorry, you can't do it on an iPhone. At least it's like, okay, you can get in and talk to them. And yeah, it's not perfect. We need to have video. But yeah, it's like, all right, do we need to get it up in the next month, or can we wait a month and do it then? But we'll have longer discussions behind after the stream about that for what we want to do. And so our final question, what was it, Dan? It was we were curious to hear from you guys was it the longest, the most arduous piece of, why don't you ask the question?
Articulate fashion than myself. I was just curious for everyone out here is a live streamer or knows a lot of live streamers. I'm interested, like when you guys are doing a show, what task or what set of tasks take the most amount of time? Like, because surely there's some optimizations, and it doesn't have to be something directly related to StreamYard, but just when you're planning a show, like, is it, getting your guest and making sure all their stuff's good to go? Is it preparing the images, like putting out the posts, posting things to Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff? Like, what is it exactly? I like that.
I like that comment as well. I think this is Ernest. Will there be audio for videos like from YouTube? Yes, there'll be audio. I'm not sure I understand the question correctly, but yeah, it'll be audio for everything. Periscope has been at this for a long time, and they just added guests by audio only. Interesting. Yeah, I actually saw that post from Eileen about that.
Interesting.
Why on earth would anyone say no to audio over having nothing at all? You gotta take a stand sometimes, I guess. What are you sacrificing if video is put off for a month or two?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like ultimately, I guess the way to explain it is we'll get more total things done if we put off video a little bit. So we'll move faster in general if we put off iOS video for a bit. Because we'll end up having to do like a temporary thing in order to get it up earlier.
Right. Yeah, we're basically, to not go into too much detail, we're gated by a few different things that are happening on Safari. So we'll be able to quickly do it in a month, or we could take a longer process and do it now, and it would slow us down on other. I should have put my phone on silent, but it would allow us to. We'd be able to work more on other features if we put it off for a month, and in a month we would have it up almost immediately. Is the gist of it?
Yeah.
Copy and paste of title and description. Did I mess up the title? My mistake, Beauty Bubble. I'll fix it afterwards. You can still put up pictures while your guest is speaking. I had to do that for one show and it worked out well. Yeah, pictures are a big plus. We talked a bit about that even if it is audio only, if we somehow integrate something where you can at least grab the person's profile picture, it does make a big difference.
Yeah, or even instead of just grabbing like their Facebook picture or something, we can also just like turn on their webcam, smile for the camera, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Just snaps a quick picture. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and then maybe put the audio analyzer, like let me mute myself. Put this audio analyzer around that.
Yes, it would be like a picture talking. Yeah.
Yeah, talking picture.
Almost like a video. Yeah.
I mean, what's the difference?
So Bruce says scheduling and notifying takes the longest. When we notify all networks, image tools are easy and plentiful.
Okay.
Interesting. I would not have guessed that. Scheduling and notifying takes the longest. Are there automated tools for that, Bruce? Say again, Ned?
Sorry, this is like notifying your audience.
I suppose, but isn't that just a post? Am I missing something?
Well, I guess it depends. Depends how into marketing.
Yeah, I guess I'm not. Maybe if you're not just doing it over social media, if you're just doing marketing in general, it takes longer.
Yeah.
Dana says getting the guests to use the correct technology is actually tough. Oh, like telling them to use a laptop or desktop. I guess mobile will help for that.
Yeah.
And finding new guests to interview might take the longest. Okay, that's interesting.
Hey, some other cool things actually. Just like with regards to what Dana just said. Like we're adding mobile support and it's going to be in the browser. But another thing that could be interesting is Edge, Microsoft Edge just switched over to Chromium. So it's using, like they used to have their own software and they're kind of building it up on top of the same project that Chrome's built on now. Which that's actually very cool. And it's probably interesting to guys like you, Ross, is Edge for the longest time was Microsoft had their own browser that they wrote, and they basically threw in the towel and were like, Chrome's better. Yeah.
And Chrome, for anyone that doesn't know, is built on top of open source software called Chromium. So Edge threw in the towel and basically said, okay, we're just gonna use Chrome stuff and put our little Edge branding on top of it, which is awesome because it means Edge will actually be a good browser now. So that's
good. Which means it'll work for us.
Yeah, and will work for StreamYard and other.
Ton of issues at the moment. Safari's getting their stuff together too. So
Linda says, what takes me the longest is going through all the tasks I have to do for each interview. I'd be curious what those individual tasks are, Linda. I guess that's like preparing the questions, getting the guests ready, that type of stuff. Thanks, Nicole. That's nice of you. Ross saying hi. What if you avoid Safari on iOS? Here's another interesting tidbit for you, Bruce, is there really is only one browser on iOS, and that is Safari. So on iOS, when you're using Chrome or Firefox, it's all pretty much Safari. You have to use the Safari engine when you do it. So Chrome and Firefox basically just make their own skin of Safari. So it's not really an option.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Linda's saying hi to Dana. And in first Chrome, same thing. I went through their Facebook pictures and chose 8 pictures and kept cycling through them. Oh, Linda's referring to when she had an audio-only guest. Yeah, that's a cool idea. And that actually, it's a very creative way. And I bet you people watching it's probably an interesting way to consume audio while seeing just a slideshow of the person. I like that idea.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea too, even if say we have full support for video in the future, right? Which we will. it's kind of a cool idea if like maybe your internet was just getting hammered, like your guest had a really bad internet connection. We could just like turn off the video and like, all right, we're going to cycle through your Facebook pictures, or, you know, the ones you've chosen for us to cycle through or something. Might be nicer than just the audio only avatar thing, right?
And to answer your question, Ross says mobile is only for guests joining the show with a link. So everything we do is going to be iterative. So the first version of mobile is going to just be guests joining, but we have future plans to create the entire experience where you'll be able to do everything regardless of the device you're on. I don't know if we would do it. Do you think we'll do it for like the smaller devices as well? I do think it'd be cool to be able to do everything from an iPad at least, but the app's going to change over time. But for right now, yes. Right now it's just for guests joining with the link, and they'll be able to join on Android or iOS. But again, iOS is going to be audio only for some amount of time. That might be a couple months. It might be shorter depending on how loud people are about it. That's the tool that Bruce uses. I would love if we could have a photo of someone instead of the silhouette. Yeah, like Linda was saying, that I do think that does add a lot to the experience. If we could just snap a quick picture of the person or pull something from Facebook, I think that would be a good experience.
Yeah.
And Jennifer, my mistake, says, like Instagram, Twitter, multiple FB pages and groups, pain to notify them all. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it's a pain for me, but I figured I was just not doing it correctly because I don't use any of the tools. I'm going to start using like either Hootsuite or Buffer or something, but right now I do it all by hand. So yeah, it is a pain. As live video broadens and people begin to firm up their vision and message, we are in the epicenter of technology. Well said, Beauty Bubble.
Yeah, it's definitely broadening. I think the live stream growth is still like 100% year over year, like double.
Is that what it is? It's at least I remember 80 or 100. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's growing fast. Just because there's so much room to grow, right? Like video is so big, and live streaming is only really started up in the last few years, right? Like there's been like some other stuff for a while.
Yeah, it wasn't on anyone's radar really.
Yeah, early the last couple of years, right? And now it's like there's just so much space to grow because the space is so big.
Hey, Barb, nice to see you here.
Hello.
It only took Safari 9 years to get behind everyone before they started to get their act together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Safari, it's surprising Safari's not a bit farther along because they were one of the earliest browsers, weren't they?
Yeah, they've been around for quite a long time.
Yeah.
They're really the only holdout now. Like everyone's using Chromium, basically. I guess Firefox. Firefox.
Yeah, because Opera's Chromium.
Yeah, and all the other like smaller browsers like Brave and Dolphin and.
Yeah, they're all built on top of Chromium.
Yeah, Samsung's browser's built on Chromium.
And it is a good thing because it makes it so much easier. I mean, in my opinion, it's a good thing. As a developer, it's a good thing because you're only having to develop for one platform.
Yeah, you only need to know one.
Yeah. Linda says, one of my favorite options of StreamYard is that I was able to add those pictures while live. I was so excited about it. Hashtag the Yarg rocks. Thanks, Linda. Yeah, that is cool that you can just quickly upload those pictures on the fly.
Very cool.
I'm not pushing, just clarifying to make sure I understand. Oh, yeah, I understand. All right, do we have any other topics we want to run by them, Dan?
I just had one kind of random question, something Gage and I have thought about in the past, and we just wanted to see how interested you guys were in it. Not as important as iOS video, I know that for sure. But one thing that is possible for us to do, if there was enough demand for it, is to let people stream to their own websites.
Oh, yeah.
So, for example, if you had like a WordPress website and you wanted to do like have your audience actually on that WordPress website for some reason, whether that's because you want to like put a paywall in front of it, or you're just doing some kind of private courses, or, you know, maybe you want to have like a link to sell a product on the actual page, or just stream, you know, content that YouTube or Facebook doesn't allow, like it has copyright, whatever, it has your own stuff in it, your own ads in it, something that Facebook or YouTube would cut out.
Yeah, you'd basically be able to embed, like if any of you are familiar with WordPress, you'd be able to just embed a basically StreamYard video and chat on your website. And we were curious if that's something that's appealing to people. you'd make use of that. Because one thing, I don't know how many of you, or if any of you do webinars, but one thing I've always been curious about with webinars is what the most appealing aspects of them are. Because there's sort of this weird line that's not super clear to me as like, what's the difference between a live stream and a webinar, and where does the overlap actually happen?
Yeah.
So I assume the biggest reason, I think, Bruce, I don't know if you do webinars, but you might have some insight here, is I would assume the biggest reason why someone does a webinar over a live stream is they want it to be either paywalled or private. But theoretically, you could do the same thing with YouTube. Like, you could make it unlisted, and you could even make a private YouTube. So if any of you are into the webinar space or have any insights there, I'd be curious, like, what makes you guys use webinar tools versus just live streaming? Like, what's the appeal there? I know lots of them have fancy analytics tools and things like that. Like, is it mostly the analytics? Is it mostly the fact that you can get it on your own website with a landing page? Or is it I just want to know what it is. So if you guys have any insights for me there, I'd be glad to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like Ross is a fan. Streaming to websites would be amazing.
Cool.
Awesome. Barb's interested as well. Paid accounts only, though. It probably would be a premium feature.
Yeah.
Just because
it costs us
it's expensive for us, and we don't also get very little benefit from since it's not on YouTube or Facebook, there's going to be less people seeing the watermark.
Plus, we have to support the viewers.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest part. We have to support the viewers. Yeah.
Instead of like YouTube or Facebook, sending
we're paying for the brand
to all your viewers, we would have to do it.
Yeah,
we know
it would 100% be a paid feature. I don't know how that slipped my mind because we have to be paying for the data. All right, sounds like people are a fan. April says it would be epic and a game changer.
I'm curious what all the use cases would be too. And there's a use case where they're platform independent.
Yeah, because lots of people are angry with Facebook these days and YouTube. I'm not. I don't have a huge problem with either of them, but for whatever reason, it seems I see it in the news all the time. Jennifer says she'd like to be platform independent. Yes, especially if you can make the comment stream as an overlay or in a separate box where they can log in to respond to chat with Facebook or YouTube sign-on buttons. There would be a comment stream. I don't think we'd make them sign in to comment. I think it would just be...
Or it could be optional or something.
Or it could be optional. We haven't made it yet, so yeah.
Yeah.
It's up in the air.
Yeah. But
all right, well, you guys sound pretty excited about it, Bruce.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, I saw you mention this in the group, Linda. She's asking Dan about the time. It's certainly possible. Facebook allows us to do that, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I'll be honest with you, it's probably not super high on the totem pole, but we'll probably do it eventually. Yeah, Dan.
That's funny. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Yeah, literally the only reason we have it is just so like that input is shorter and
smaller.
there's just, fewer options. But
we'll get to it one day.
No reason we can't do that.
A lot of webinars are live streamed. You can blend recorded with live. Right.
Your question.
Why do you pay for webinar software, Barb? Like why do people choose to pay for webinar software and do a webinar versus just go live on Facebook? Do you know have any insight as to why that is? Tish says hi to everyone. Nice to see you here. Linda also a fan.
Cool. Your computer's having some serious internet connection issues right now.
Oh, mine is? You're coming in okay. Do I at least sound okay?
No, you sound great.
Okay.
Which just goes to prove how important audio is.
Okay.
Seems to be a bit better.
Saying hi. Yeah, we will get to it eventually. It's mostly a UI thing. Is we just want everything to be simple and nice. So having the option to choose every single minute, we have to figure out a way to actually have that input. But it's noted.
On the YouTube Stream Now page, so this is like the YouTube Live dashboard, it's actually every half hour, which is nuts. Like,
oh, on YouTube you can only do half hour.
Half hour.
Oh, okay.
Which is like, how restrictive is that? But for the same reason as we do our 5-minute restriction, right? It's just
to be honest,
30 times.
I wouldn't think of it as being that big of a deal. But yeah, I guess
really?
If you want to do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just seems like anything you could do at 6:15, you could do at 6:30.
Well, not necessarily.
Yeah, I guess not necessarily. I would think any Well, I guess that's true. Sometimes an event just doesn't start at. That's true. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, the soccer game starts at 6:10. Like, whoa.
And a Beauty Bubble telling everyone to join the Facebook group. We appreciate that, Beauty Bubble. And yes, it's a fun group. Please join us. Gary, this is Bruce.
Gary's
Bruce's alter ego, or not alter ego, not ego. Jennifer says you get email subs. Okay, yes, that's a good point. So I'm guessing that's huge.
Yeah.
That might be the biggest one now that I think about it, is when you're going live on YouTube and Facebook, you can't collect any data about the person. Whereas if you're going live with a webinar, they always have email forms and things like that.
So that would be another reason why.
That'd be another reason to stream your own website.
Yeah.
Because if you were familiar with WordPress, you could do all that yourself. You just put it behind a wall, put it behind an email form. Okay, that's interesting. Because yeah, that's a good point. I don't know how that slipped my mind. That's probably one of the biggest ones I would think, is people are trying to build an email list and you can't. It's hard to do that on Facebook and YouTube. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Barb, of course, pay to play.
I'm guessing she's talking about streaming your own website.
Yeah, she's referring to data costs. Privacy and protection of copyrights. I see. So if you're not wanting to get restricted by YouTube's policy.
Yeah. That's that one I totally get. It sucks that you lose the like organic reach of Facebook and YouTube.
Okay, this is to the webinar question. Paywalls, lead gen, and links for monetizing. Okay, so that's interesting because all of that can be done relatively easily if you just stream your own website. So if those are the main things that makes streaming your own website an interesting feature to me, because you could basically just hire a WordPress developer to basically make you your own little webinar that was totally custom to your brand. So it seems like it could be a very interesting feature to me.
Yeah, it's cool.
Sorry, my laptop skipped and didn't want to miss a second of the stream. Oh, so you're also Gary? Okay, interesting. Linda, but you can create a bot that captures their email address. That's how I capture emails during a live webinar. And I assume when you say live webinar, Linda, are you talking about Facebook Live or do you mean webinar software? Because I would assume the bot you're talking about a Facebook bot.
That'd be my guess.
Because that is true. Messenger bots are sort of blur the lines even more because you can collect information that way.
Right. One
advantage of people watching on your property or social media is that there are fewer distractions and they can explore your other content while there. Yes, absolutely. It's a big one.
I do see it being very good if you're trying to sell something. Like, maybe during a webinar to sell a course, and right below the video is the button to sign up for the course. Like that could be cool. And then like extra content reinforcing what you're talking about. And
yeah,
that's powerful, right? That's very powerful.
So Ernest asking about the mobile timeframe. So the features we discussed today, so full support for Android in the browser and audio for iOS. Dan has a better idea than me, but I believe it will be this week, early this week, right, Dan?
Yeah.
So soon, very soon.
Very soon, yeah.
My comments in context with webinars. Yeah, I believe we picked up on that. I think the privacy and protection. Yeah. Bruce says, plus the way to give everyone a copy of the webinars, plus the way to give everyone the copy of webinars back to the clients. So recording, basically. I guess.
Yeah, I do know some people sell webinars back. Like it'll basically be, hey, you can come see my webinar for free live, or
and then sell the recording.
Yeah, and like even if you did show up, like, oh yeah, you want the recording? That's like, sign up for my paid.
Right. I see.
But you could also do that with Facebook. It's just, I think like webinar stuff's built to do that, right? YouTube and Facebook, you kind of have to.
Yeah, you have to sort of get creative with it too. Yes, especially if you can make the comment stream as an overlay or in a separate box where they can log in to respond to chat with Facebook or YouTube sign-on buttons.
Didn't you already post that?
Bruce is copy pasting. All right, 6:30. So we should probably let you guys get back to dinner or whatever you guys are up to. Thanks for tuning into the town hall. We really appreciate it. You have any final words, Dan?
I don't think so. I'm just excited. There's some, mobile, and then there'll be some other cool things coming soon. So
Yeah, I think you guys will really enjoy mobile because it is pretty slick to be able to just click a link and you're just portaled right in there. There's no app download. There's no friction. I definitely think it's the way to go, and it will be really nice for guests that just want to join very quickly.
Yeah, and it totally is the way of the future, right? We mentioned that last week. Like,
oh yeah, it's where everything's going. Twitter is focused on getting rid of their app. Lots of big companies. Alibaba, is that the name of it?
They saw huge benefits by switching.
Yeah, they're switching over to all browser based, whereas, like we said, it's called a PWA, Progressive Web App. But we're over time now, so we'll let you guys get back to your wonderful evening. Thanks for tuning in. This was episode number 5 of the StreamYard Town Hall. See you guys next week, same time.
See you later.